Hi guys! I received a lot of positive feedback on my video 3 tips for taking direction, so here are 3 more tips for taking direction specifically in live sessions. And once again, I've tried to pick some things that I think are outside the zeitgeist that might challenge you a little. So, number 1, train your internal clock. Your internal clock is an incredibly valuable thing because it tells you how long a piece of text is going to take. So this is particularly important in sessions that are time-stamped, for example, commercials and dubbing and corporate explainers. Often the material that you need to voice over has already been created and you need to hit the timestamps dead on. Now, the best way to do this is to practice before the session. If you're fortunate enough to get the materials before the session, make sure you take the time to practice and train in what it feels like to hit each timestamp. For example, you get a commercial script and you know there's a 30-second and a 15-second cut. Practice hitting that 30-second cut. Practice hitting that 15-second cut. That way, when you get into the live session, you will naturally hit it every time, ensuring each take is usable, and trust me, directors will be so grateful for that. If you don't get it before the session, which in my experience has been rare when it comes to time-stamped work, outside of obviously dubbing, because that happens in the moment when you've got access to the footage. You just need to know and trust yourself and stay calm and listen, which once again becomes easier if you've practiced hitting timestamps in your own time. So it's worth practicing regardless of whether you have the script or not, even with a practice commercial or a practice text online. So number 1, train your internal clock. Number 2, broaden your vocabulary. And this is not meant to be condescending. There is a big difference in the way we all communicate, and it's kind of wonderful. We all use a variety of words to mean the same thing, which I sort of touched on in my last one. It's your ability to discern the differences between words. For example, lost and confused, hopeless, forlorn, joyful, ecstatic, and playing with the very minute differences in colors in seemingly synonymous terms. It is also your ability to understand the touchstones that your directors give you. For example, turns of phrase or media references. If you're working on a video game, the director may offer a character from an existing game or an iconic moment from a very popular game. And if you know what they're talking about, if you've expanded your cultural vocabulary, this is fantastic. It's a huge boon for you because you can go, oh, I know exactly what you mean. So in order to expand your vocabulary, both verbal and cultural, the best thing to do is to consume a wide amount of media. If you want to work in games, play games or watch playthroughs. If you want to work in commercials, don't skip commercials on YouTube because people will bring them up, and it's great if you can relate. And as a little bonus tip, it's worth talking to people around the world because we all use different turns of phrase and ideas to communicate things. So an Australian director might say to you, oh, can you do that like a larrikin? And it's really cool if you can go, I know what a larrikin is. That's a bit of a mischievous guy. I know who that is. He's a bit of the underdog. Everybody loves him, but he's very cheeky. And you can play that because you've sort of been out in the world. If they say, an American director says, I want you to bring the Kool-Aid guy energy, you know that it's the, oh yeah, and you know exactly what you're going to bring into that session. So broaden your vocabulary is very helpful. And the third tip is remember that everyone in a live session wants you to succeed. Usually a lot of money has been put into whatever you're creating, and everybody is on your side. This sounds strange, but sometimes we think they're only there to judge us. But really, they want you to succeed. They want this to be as easy as possible. Everyone wants to go to lunch early. So whenever you're feeling panicked, whenever you're worried about what they think of you, I promise you, they are rooting for you. Unless the client is like your ex or something, in which case you have bigger problems. But remember, they're on your side. All right? Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you again later, guys. Oh, really quickly, I wanted to summarize at the end, and I forgot, and I don't want to re-record the whole thing. So, number 1, train your internal clock. Number 2, broaden your vocabulary. And number 3, which was, everyone is on your side. Thanks, guys. See ya.